So, I've gone live. Let's just get this set up. I always messed about with this thing. Okay, so I'm just going to turn it around before I start gambling, because it's, tell you what, on the picture there, it looks pretty good, that weather, but it's not. It's, the wind's picked up now. Now it must have rained in the night, because when I got up this morning it was all wet, so I didn't hear nothing, but apparently it must have rained in the night. And I'm just going to turn it back now. So Michael, you're top man for being the first in, top man. Everybody else, there's only one. so everybody else, oh, John's come in now. John, you're top people. Yeah, now officially I shouldn't be here really. I should have been on my Campus Explorers trip, where we was going to go up to the Guns of Cartagena. That was the plan, but unfortunately I had a message this morning from my friend Andy that lives in Alcatraz, and he was saying it's raining. He didn't say that word, he said some other word that I can't use on there. But it was pouring down with rain apparently. So I went over to have a coffee with the guys, because on my weather app it didn't say anything about rain, but talking to the other guys, some of them said they've got rain on theirs, but thankfully it hasn't rained. But what it did say, it's going to be really windy, and I've just noticed the wind's picking up now. Now I was up having a cup of tea about an hour ago. The wife's already got on the wood burner, because the temperatures today, even though there's no shade, would you believe, it's only 17. But I know to you lot back in the UK, or everywhere else up, especially Northern Europe, it's you got snow, haven't you, or snowish stuff. But here, but anyway, they forecasted this horrible weather, because it's the back end of this storm. Apparently it's going over the Atlantic, and it sounds like other places in Spain they got lots of rain, but not here. Anyway, today's question, funny enough, is about the rain. What else could I... Oh yeah, today it's Fish and Chip Friday, and of course today, because I think last Friday we didn't go out anywhere. I think we had something else, can't think of what it was. But anyway, today we're going to the Black Ball for our fish and chips, which would be nice. They do nice fish and chips in there. If you're going to ask about the fish and chip shop on A, God knows when that is. The last time I heard on the rumour side was, I think they said March, so that ain't far off if that's true. All that's happened since I've been keeping an eye on that fish and chip shop, they put in an extra door. And that's all to do, as I mentioned many times, to do with their licences, because Spain loves licences. Anyway, so nothing on that, but fish and chips at the Black and Ball. And Donk's saying he's going there in 2 hours' time. Enjoy, that's what I'll say. I'm looking forward to it. Nothing like, you can't beat fish and chips. Anyway, yeah, like I said before, the Campus Explorers had to make the decision, because the road going up there ain't the best of roads. It's just wide enough for 2 cars, but it's got really bad potholes now. And if it had rained, because it's higher up there, and it's possibility it could be in the clouds, I don't know. So I just thought, no, it's not worth the risk. It's all right when it's just yourself or maybe a friend and that, but when you got a group of people, you have to be responsible. So I decided, no, not worth the risk. It's gonna be, one, I know it's gonna be freezing cold, and 2, definitely gonna be windy, and possible it might have been raining up there. Because the problem with these weather apps, when you try to look at another location, on mine it's not very easy, and I couldn't find no predictions of rain, but it ain't looking very nice today, so I called that off. I don't like doing things like that, but it just ain't worth the risk. Anyway, going on to today's question, because it's Friday. Right, Julian sent me a question, and he obviously follows me because he knows where I used to live. Having lived in Child Okeford for over 20 years, what it can guarantee, as you know, is lots of rain, and I can vouch for that. My question is, Are you concerned that you don't get enough rain where you are, and what could be the implications of the supply and the cost of water in the future? Good question. Now, funny enough, down in Malaga, one of my folks used to live in Malaga. We're talking about sort of late 80s onwards. They used to get they used to get their water cut off every couple of weeks. So my dad used to store, because he had a swimming pool, so he could use that, say, for the toilets and things like that. They would cut off the water. There was a water shortage, and obviously since then Malaga is like twice as big now. And I know down south, and I've heard on Barcelona, they're already talking about water shortages, on about banning filling your pool up, I suppose, things like that. Now here, I heard nothing. Funny enough, the only thing we have heard is that Cartagena, a lot of their drinking water comes from the sea. You know, well, I forget you call it now, some big word. I know what it is, just can't pronounce it. But anyway, they've got a big plant, and they're actually on about bringing in the ships and filling up the water boats and supplying other places that are in need of water, especially the big cities. I'm talking about Barcelona, probably Valencia, Malaga obviously be another one. But here, I mean, this is a huge farming area. A lot of the water does come from the ground, and also a lot of the water comes from the Segura, which is a massive river that goes right through the whole Murcia out to sea. And as far as I heard nothing about any water shortages. I mean, you know, I'll go down the car wash like once a month sometime. I used to be, when I first come here, every Sunday, down the car wash, clean the car. Pointless, because as soon as you clean it, there's a lot of dust in the area, so it gets dusty, and then after a couple of weeks it gets really dusty. But you do need to get off that sand because it eats into the paintwork. So I usually once a month. It costs me about €3. Now the water bill here has hardly gone up at all. Our water bill here was every 2 months, and it's still every 2 months. I think when we first got here, we was probably paying about €50, so €25 a month. And obviously in the summer, we'd probably go up to much as €80, €40 a month. I mean, you can't complain, because my wife, as you can see all around me, we've got all these plants. She loves watering them. She's not, I'll be honest, she's not watering the plants as much as she used to, because she doesn't need to. These plants seem to hold the water pretty well. Obviously the pool drinks water, especially in the summertime. I mean, I think we top up the pool probably once a week because of the heat. Now that could change, but as far as I know, I ain't seen no reports. I don't listen to people's rumours, you know, and I try not to, especially on Facebook, newspaper headlines, and a lot of them, funny enough, come from the UK. You know, they get a hint, and that's it. Drought, everybody's dying, you know. But as far as I know here, I mean, I think last time I looked at our water bill, I mean, this is obviously during the winter time, it was I think it was 57. So I've been here 7 years, so that's hardly gone up at all, really. And I personally think water's quite cheap here, considering. And if somebody else is going to say, do you drink it? The dog drinks it, and then Bonnie's fine. But I'll be personally, I don't drink the tap water, other than if I have a cup of tea, obviously, because I boil it. I mean, the water tastes all right, but I always buy bottled water. I think you can buy, I always buy like a 6-pack litre bottles, €2 or €3. It don't cost much. Now, obviously, maybe in the summer, that's all going to change with the mass panicking that news spreads, and it seems to get people panicking a bit. But as far as I know, nothing's happening here. Now, obviously, I can say all this, and then suddenly next month it all kicks in. But as far as I know, nothing's happening. I've not particularly concerned about it. I mean, what used to make me a laugh was where I used to live in Child Okeford. It rained, and especially January, February, we used to get the floods. So when I used to go to work, I mean, I'd be driving the car over. I mean, a couple of times my car just got flooded, and I'd call that a breakdown van. And then you get like a week of sun in the UK, and even where we was, we have the hose pipe ban. So I mean that says a lot, really, doesn't it? I mean, we've got some huge water leaks here in this area, but in the UK, well, why do they get hose pipe bans when you get so much rain there? So I'm not particularly concerned about the water. The only thing I'm concerned about, one, is electricity, because that's when we first arrived here in Spain, we used to pay our electric every 2 months. Well, now we pay it every month, and to be honest, what we was paying every 2 months is what we're paying every month now. And I did notice, which is bizarre, our electric bill has gone down slightly, even though a lot of other people said theirs has gone up. So maybe they took pity on me and dropped ours down a bit. But I'll let you know in the next couple of months, because I know one thing I think is a big saving. I've turned off the swimming pool pump. I turned it off 2 months ago. I don't see the point of having the pump on. Now some people might say, oh, that's not a good idea. Some other people, I mean, we've done it before. Somebody else told us about turning the pump off, because that pump does use a lot of electricity. And I know we'd done it a couple of years ago where we turned it off. I think we turned it off like November, and we didn't put it back on again until sort of late March, April time. And that was a big saving. And I've decided doing it again, because the wife keeps putting it on, but I keep turning it off. But I told her now, just leave it. I told the pool man, and he's quite happy with it. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, electricity I'm always concerned about. People go saying, well, about solar power. Well, solar power, to me, I think is expensive here. There doesn't seem to be any incentives. They say there is, you get like so much knocked off your IBI tax. Well, we don't pay much IBI tax, so I don't really see the saving in that. And I think apparently, I mean, once you got it all fitted in, yeah, big savings. But it's the cost of all putting it in, to me, is a lot of money. Not unless you want to contribute to my coffee fund, you know. Quite happy to put it into solar power. But, I mean, it's interesting thing about solar power here. What they don't bang on about here, these solar power companies, they have to be clean, guys. Those panels need to be cleaned. And we live in a really sandy area. So with this rain, it's going to bring in the sand. And even when it ain't raining, we still get dust on there. And once that dust settles on there, those panels need cleaning. Now, some people have their panels around the garden. They're accessible. But a lot of people, I haven't seen many, but a lot of people do have them on the roofs in difficult places. So that's another extra cost, maintenance cost. Anyway, I've been banging on. John's going to say, oh, where's that video for solar panels? John, it's still in the process. I think, funny enough, I think next week, somewhere on campus, there's going to be a guy actually talking about it. And I'd love to bump in there, but he'd probably chuck me out. Anyway, guys, just before I finish, I've got 25 in the house, I've got 12 likes, hey, top people. What's I going to say then? Oh yeah, just before, adios. Yeah, oh God, it's 17 today in the shade. Even though there's no shade, but you know, it's not. We got the wood burner on, and I've got fish and chips tonight. I'll let you know. I'll give you a 10 out of 10 tomorrow on the fish and chips. See how good they are, because sometimes it's not always brilliant, are they, these places? But I'm sure it's going to be 100 out of 100. Anyway, adios amigos, adios.